The shy waitress met the billionaire's deaf mother. What the waitress did next with her hands left everyone in the fancy restaurant completely shocked. It changed everything. Subscribe now, because you won't want to miss how this unfolds. Follow, comment, and share to become part of our story circle. The smell of stale coffee and sizzling bacon hung heavy in the air. Sunlight, thick with dust motes, struggled through the greasy windows of the Rusty Spoon diner. This was Maya's world. 6 days a week, from dawn until mid-afternoon, she moved between the worn red booths and the chipped Formica counter. She carried heavy trays, poured endless cups of coffee, and wiped down sticky tables. Her uniform, a plain white blouse and dark apron, was always spotless. It was a small point of pride in her quiet life. She often felt invisible, and that suited her just fine. Maya was small, with tired eyes that often looked down. Her brown hair was always pulled back in a neat ponytail. She was 22 years old, but her movements were slow, like someone much older. Maya didn't talk much. She let her coworker, Brenda, do most of the talking. Brenda was loud and friendly, always ready with a joke or gossip. Maya just smiled softly and nodded, preferring to blend into the background. Being unnoticed was a comfort to her. Her life was simple. Wake up, put on her uniform, walk to the diner, serve food, clean, walk home. Repeat. Her small apartment was above a noisy barber shop. It had one window that looked out onto a brick wall. It wasn't much, but it was hers. She paid her rent on time. She always paid her bills. Every dollar she earned was counted and carefully saved. There was a deep caution in her, a quiet strength born from hardship and past disappointments. Maya had a secret. Not a bad secret, but one she kept hidden deep inside. She understood things others didn't. She saw the world in a different way. She felt emotions deeply, but she never showed it. She preferred to stay unseen, unnoticed. It was safer that way. Her shyness was a shield. It kept her safe from judging eyes. Her quietness was a comfort, a way to keep her inner world private and protected. She remembered a time when her hands moved with a language all their own, a language of grace and feeling, a language that brought her close to someone she loved, a friend who taught her how to communicate beyond words. But that was a long time ago, a lifetime ago, it seemed. Now, her hands only knew the weight of coffee pots and dirty plates. The memory felt like a ghost, a whisper from a forgotten dream that sometimes, late at night, would still tug at her heart. Today felt like any other Tuesday. The breakfast rush had died down. Old Mr. Henderson was reading his newspaper at his usual booth. A group of loud construction workers finished their meals, their laughter filling the small space. Brenda was humming a pop song as she refilled salt shakers. The diner hummed with its normal, predictable rhythm, a comforting background noise that usually soothed Maya. Maya wiped down a table near the front door. Her thoughts drifted. She thought about her savings. Every penny was for a dream of a small art studio, maybe a small shop, a place where her hands could create beautiful things again, not just serve food. It felt so far away, like a star she could see but never touch, a hope she guarded fiercely and worked tirelessly for. The bell above the door jingled. Maya looked up, ready to offer a tired smile, but her smile faded. A sudden, tense hush fell over the diner, as if a spell had been cast. The construction workers stopped talking. Mr. Henderson slowly lowered his newspaper, his eyes wide with surprise. Everyone looked towards the door, curiosity mixing with awe. 3 people stood in the doorway. They didn't fit in the Rusty Spoon. Not at all. They were like figures from a magazine, out of place in the diner's worn reality, like exotic birds in a chicken coop. First, a man. Tall, broad shoulders, dark suit. It wasn't just expensive. It screamed power, wealth, and authority. His face was sharp, serious. He looked around the diner with a careful, almost cold gaze, as if scanning for threats or anything out of place. This was a man used to getting what he wanted, accustomed to having doors open for him. He moved with a quiet force. He was Mr. Hayes, Elias Hayes. Everyone knew his name. The billionaire, the one who owned half the city, the one who lived in the mansion on the hill, a world away from the diner's simple life. Beside him, a woman, older, with elegant gray hair pulled back in a neat bun. Her clothes were simple but clearly very costly. Her eyes were bright, curious, taking in every detail of the humble diner, yet with a gentle warmth. But there was something else about her, a quietness, a way she looked at the world, a little different from everyone else. This was Mrs. Hayes, Elias's mother, Eleanor. Maya knew her name from the gossip shows. Eleanor Hayes was famous for her charity work. She was also known to be deaf, a fact Maya remembered from a newspaper article long ago, a small detail that had always stuck with her. Behind them stood another woman, younger, sharp features, a tight business suit. She held a sleek tablet, a look of impatience on her face. She looked annoyed, as if the diner was not good enough for her. This was likely Mr. Hayes's assistant, a gatekeeper to their world, clearly uncomfortable in these humble surroundings. Elias Hayes scanned the room, then walked to a booth in the corner. It was one of the cleanest, almost as if he had already planned their spot and knew it would be available. He pulled out a chair for his mother. Eleanor smiled at him, a soft, loving smile. She sat down. The assistant took the seat facing them. Elias sat opposite his mother. Brenda stood frozen behind the counter. Her mouth was slightly open. "Maya," she whispered, her voice barely audible. "Is that Elias Hayes, the billionaire?" Maya nodded slowly. Her heart beat a little faster, a nervous flutter. Billionaires didn't eat at the Rusty Spoon, ever. This was a truly remarkable event. Elias Hayes looked up. His eyes found Maya, standing near the front. They were intense, like a spotlight, scrutinizing her every move. Maya felt a flush creep up her neck, her cheeks burning. She quickly looked down at the table she was wiping, suddenly feeling clumsy and exposed. Her rag felt suddenly heavy, like a lead weight in her hand, utterly inadequate. "Someone coming to serve us?" Elias's voice was deep, clear, and very direct. It cut through the quiet diner, making everyone jump slightly, pulling them out of their stunned silence. Brenda snapped out of her daze. "Yes, sir, right away." She nudged Maya hard. "Go on, Maya, take their order." Her eyes urged Maya forward, a mix of panic and excitement. Maya swallowed. Her throat felt dry, tight with nerves. Her hands trembled slightly as she picked up a menu. This was a whole different kind of customer, one who could change everything. She took a deep, shaky breath, trying to calm her pounding heart. She had to do this. It was her job. She had to be professional, despite the extraordinary circumstances. She walked towards their table. Her steps were small, unsure, like a bird taking its first flight. Her eyes stayed glued to the menu in her hands, avoiding direct eye contact. She could feel their eyes on her, a heavy weight, especially Elias Hayes's. It felt like he was judging her every move, every tiny flaw, every breath she took. When she reached the table, she didn't meet his gaze. She looked at the menu, pretending to study it, buying herself a moment. "Welcome to the Rusty Spoon," she mumbled, her voice barely a whisper, thin with shyness. Can I get you something to drink?" Elias Hayes leaned forward. "Speak up, please. My mother can't hear you." Maya's cheeks burned crimson. "Of course." Eleanor. Hayes was deaf. She remembered that detail. But how was she supposed to take her order? She couldn't shout. That would be rude, unprofessional, completely out of character. Her mind scrambled for a solution, her thoughts a jumble. "Eleanor, sensing Maya's shyness and confusion, smiled kindly at her. Her eyes were warm, filled with a gentle understanding. She made a small, questioning gesture with her hands. It was a simple movement, a slight curve of her fingers, an unspoken query, a question. Asterisk. What did you say? Asterisk. Maya froze. Her mind raced. She knew that gesture. She knew exactly what it meant. It was a small sign, but it was a sign of a language she had once known so well. A language she had loved. A language that had been a secret shared between two friends. A bond that transcended spoken words. A language she had tried so hard to forget, to bury deep inside her heart. The assistant, seeing Eleanor's gesture and Maya's frozen state, leaned over and spoke slowly and loudly, as if Eleanor was simply hard of hearing. "She's asking what you said, Mrs. Hayes." Then she looked at Maya with an impatient frown. "Just point to the coffee, dear. She'll understand that simple gesture." Elias Hayes watched Maya, his expression still unreadable, but with a new intensity. He seemed to be waiting, observing her reaction, a silent challenge in his eyes, a test she didn't know she was taking. Maya looked at Eleanor. The old woman's eyes were gentle, patient. They held no judgment, no impatience, just curiosity, a silent plea for connection, for someone to understand. A small, hidden part of Maya stirred. A memory, like a faint echo from a distant room, began to sing. A forgotten impulse took hold, stronger than her shyness. Suddenly, without thinking, without permission, Maya did something she hadn't done in years. Her hands moved, not just pointing. Her fingers formed a graceful, quick shape in the air. A question, clear as day. Asterisk, coffee or tea? Asterisk. The movement was fluid, effortless, as if her hands remembered a life of their own, a forgotten dance. The silence in the diner deepened, becoming almost heavy. No one spoke. The construction workers, Mr. Henderson, even Brenda, they all stared. They stared at Maya's hands, then at Eleanor Hayes, then back at Maya. A collective gasp, quiet and disbelieving, swept through the room, a wave of shock. Eleanor's eyes widened. A slow, beautiful smile spread across her face. It was a true, joyful smile, radiating warmth, lighting up the entire booth. She nodded quickly, her eyes fixed on Maya, filled with a profound gratitude. Then her hands moved too, replying to Maya's question with an easy grace. Asterisk, coffee, please. And black, very black. Asterisk, Maya felt a jolt. A feeling she hadn't felt in a long, long time. Connection, a secret understood, a barrier broken. It was like breathing fresh air after being held underwater for too long. Elias Hayes stared at Maya, then at his mother, then back at Maya again. His cold, serious face had changed. A flicker of surprise, then something deeper. Something like intense interest, a focused curiosity that made Maya feel seen, truly seen, for the first time in years. The assistant looked utterly stunned, her mouth hanging open in disbelief. Maya felt her cheeks flush again, but this time it wasn't from embarrassment. It was from something else, something warm, something like a forgotten power, a forgotten part of herself blooming anew. She had spoken, not with her voice, but with her hands, and she had been understood, truly understood, by someone who deeply needed it. This quiet, shy waitress, who had tried so hard to be invisible, had just revealed a part of herself that no one, not even her closest colleague, knew existed. And she had done it for the most powerful family in the city. The entire diner was still, watching, holding its breath. What would happen next? What would this simple act mean for Maya? Her life, once so predictable, had just taken a sudden, sharp turn, and she had no idea where it would lead, but she felt a strange, compelling pull towards it. Maya felt a sudden rush of warmth, followed by a wave of panic. She had done it. She had signed. Her hidden world had just collided with her everyday life, leaving her exposed and vulnerable. Eleanor Hayes was still smiling, her hands resting calmly on the table, her eyes full of gratitude and wonder. Elias Hayes's gaze was fixed on Maya. It was piercing, analyzing, trying to understand the depth of this unexpected connection. You sign? Elias's voice was low, laced with surprise, a hint of wonder that softened his usual sternness. Maya nodded, looking down at her hands. They still tingled from the unexpected movement, buzzing with a forgotten energy. "Yes, sir," she whispered, her voice still a bit shaky, but with a new underlying strength. "A little. I learned it years ago." Eleanor, seeing her son speak, looked at him questioningly, her brow furrowed slightly. Elias turned to his mother. His hands moved, slowly, carefully, forming signs that were less fluid than Maya's, but perfectly understandable. Asterisk. She knows sign language. She asked you if you wanted coffee or tea. She can speak your language. Asterisk. Eleanor's smile grew even wider, beaming at her son, then at Maya. She looked at Maya with an almost reverent expression, a newfound respect and deep appreciation. She signed back to Elias. Asterisk. How wonderful! It's been so long since someone outside our family signed to me. It is a gift, a true blessing to find someone like her. Asterisk. Maya watched them, a strange mixture of emotions swirling inside her. Her heart felt a strange flutter, a mix of fear that she had exposed too much, and a tiny spark of pride for the unexpected connection. She wasn't just a waitress anymore, not to them. She was something more, something special, something that held a unique value. "So, coffee for you, Mrs. Hayes?" Maya asked, this time with a little more confidence in her voice, a new strength she hadn't known she possessed. She made the sign for coffee, too, feeling the familiar comfort of the motions. Eleanor nodded enthusiastically. Asterisk. Yes, please. And black. Very black. Strong coffee. Asterisk. Maya nodded back, a small smile touching her lips, a genuine warmth spreading through her. Black coffee. Got it. She then turned to Elias. And for you, sir? Elias didn't answer right away. He was still watching her, a thoughtful look on his face, as if solving a puzzle or seeing possibilities she couldn't. Just coffee. Black, he said, finally. And for my assistant? The assistant snapped out of her daze, her face still pale with surprise. Oh, just a sparkling water, please. And a slice of lemon, if you have it. Her voice was still tight with shock and a hint of disbelief, clearly unsettled by the unexpected turn of events. Maya quickly wrote down the order. Her mind raced. What would this mean for her? Was she in trouble for stepping out of line, for daring to be different in a place that valued strict routine? Or had she actually done something good, something truly important, that would change things for the better? The mixed signals from Elias Hayes were confusing, keeping her on edge, unsure of what came next. She hurried to the counter, her hands moving on their own, a newfound spring in her step, a lightness in her movements. Brenda was still staring, wide-eyed, a silent question on her lips. Maya, what was that? Brenda hissed, her voice a low, excited whisper. You know sign language? Why didn't you ever say anything to me? That was amazing, like something from a movie. Maya shrugged, avoiding Brenda's eager gaze. It's just something I learned a long time ago. Nothing special, really. She tried to dismiss it, to play down the moment, but her heart knew it was very special indeed. A turning point. She quickly brewed a fresh pot of coffee, her movements efficient and precise. Her hands, though, felt different, lighter, more alive. They felt capable of more than just serving, capable of expressing. She poured the coffee, got the sparkling water, added the lemon, and placed them carefully on a tray. As she walked back to the table, she felt every eye in the diner on her. It was unnerving, yes. She usually preferred to blend in, to be unseen, a ghost in the background. But today, blending in was not an option. She held her head a little higher, a quiet confidence beginning to stir within her. She served the coffee and water with steady hands. "Here you go, sir, and Mrs. Hayes. Black coffee, just as you like it." Eleanor beamed at her. She signed a quick thank you times to Maya, her hands expressive and heartfelt. Maya smiled back, signing times. "You're welcome, asterisk." It felt natural. It felt right. It felt like a small, quiet miracle. A moment of true human connection that transcended their different worlds. Elias Hayes watched the exchange closely, a flicker of something almost like admiration in his eyes, a subtle approval. "Maya, is it?" he asked, his voice softer now, less formal, almost contemplative. "Yes, sir," she replied, her voice soft but clear, meeting his gaze for a fleeting moment. "That was unexpected," he said, still observing her, as if trying to piece together her story. "My mother rarely has the chance to converse with strangers in her own language." It brightened her day considerably. "You brought a rare joy to her." His tone wasn't warm, but it wasn't cold either. It was observing. Like a scientist studying a new discovery or a strategist seeing an unforeseen advantage, a piece fitting into a larger puzzle. I learned it when I was a kid," Maya explained, feeling a familiar flush rise, wanting to end the line of questioning. She didn't want to talk about it, didn't want to explain her past, her lost friend, the pain that still clung to those memories. "Oh?" Elias raised an eyebrow slightly, a question lingering in the air, a silent probe. "And why did you stop? It seems like a valuable skill, one that is not common." The question hit her like a small stone, jarring her. She hadn't stopped, not really. She just hadn't used it. She hadn't needed times to use it, until now. The painful memories were suddenly close, threatening to spill over. "Can I get you anything else?" she asked, quickly changing the subject, her gaze darting away from his intense stare. Elias didn't press. Not yet. He simply took a sip of his coffee, his eyes still on her, thoughtful. "Not right now. Thank you, Maya. This is quite enough for today. You may continue your duties." Maya retreated, feeling the weight of his stare on her back, even as she walked away. She went to the back, her heart still thrumming with a mix of anxiety and a strange, budding excitement. She leaned against the kitchen door, taking a deep breath, trying to calm her racing thoughts. She had made it through, but something told her this was just the beginning. The simple, quiet world of Maya had just been shaken by a billionaire's deaf mother and Maya's own forgotten language. Her life would never be the same, and a part of her, a long dormant part, welcomed it. Maya spent the rest of the morning in a haze. Her mind kept replaying the scene, Eleanor Hayes's joyful smile, Elias Hayes's intense gaze, the easy, natural way her hands had remembered the language. It was all so surreal, a dreamlike experience that contrasted sharply with the grease and clatter of the diner. She wondered if she had imagined it. Brenda kept trying to get more information out of her, buzzing with uncontainable curiosity. "Seriously, Maya, where did you learn that? Was it a school thing? A secret family thing?" "You have to tell me," Brenda asked, her voice full of disbelief and wonder. "Just from someone I knew, a long time ago," Maya said, keeping her answers vague, her voice flat, trying to keep her secrets close. She didn't want to explain about her best friend, Lily, who had been deaf. Lily, who had been her whole world for a few precious years. Lily, who was gone now, a painful memory she usually kept locked away, buried deep. The Hayes family finished their breakfast in relative silence, the assistant still looking annoyed and impatient, constantly checking her watch. Elias paid the bill. He left a generous tip, far more than the usual for the rusty spoon, a small stack of crisp bills that would easily cover a week of Maya's wages. As they stood to leave, Eleanor looked directly at Maya, her eyes soft and inviting. She made a specific sign. It wasn't a thank you, it was a request. Asterisk. Come back. Asterisk. Maya blinked. Asterisk. Come back. Asterisk. Did she mean come back to their table again? Or come back tomorrow? Or something else entirely? Something more significant? She wasn't sure, her mind trying to process the subtle nuance, the unspoken invitation. Elias saw the exchange, a slight narrowing of his eyes, a flicker of understanding passing across his face. He stepped closer to Maya, his eyes steady, unblinking, serious. My mother enjoyed speaking with you, Maya. Very much. You truly made her day, and that is rare. Maya felt a blush creep up her neck, a mix of pride and awkwardness. It was. My pleasure, sir. I enjoyed it too. It was a unique experience. She would like to ask if you would consider a small favor, Elias continued, his voice calm, businesslike, but with a new undertone of sincerity. Maya's heart gave a little jump. A favor? What could a billionaire ask of a shy waitress? She braced herself. Yes, my mother often feels isolated, Elias explained, a rare hint of vulnerability in his tone, a crack in his formidable armor. Our family knows sign language, of course, but it's not the same as having someone new to talk to. Someone outside her usual circle, someone who shares her interests, someone with whom she feels a natural connection. Elias paused, letting his words sink in. Would you be willing to spend some time with her? Perhaps a few hours a week? She would pay you, of course. Well, more than well, to be precise. We can make it worth your while. Maya was stunned. Work for a billionaire? Sign with his mother? Not just serving her coffee, but truly connecting with her? It was completely out of her world. Her quiet, predictable world, turned upside down, offered a glimpse into a life she could only dream of. I don't know, sir, she stammered, her voice thin, still processing the enormity of the offer. I have my job here at the diner. My schedule is fixed. We can work around your schedule, Elias said, his voice firm but not unkind, leaving no room for argument, clearly used to getting his way. Think of it as tutoring or companionship. My mother needs someone, and you seem to be exactly what she needs, a breath of fresh air, a new voice for her. He reached into his jacket pocket. He pulled out a sleek business card. It was thick, heavy paper with a subtle texture. Elias Hayes's name and a private number were printed on it, simple yet commanding, holding immense power in her hands. Consider it, he said, placing the card on the counter, his fingers brushing hers for a fleeting moment. Call this number if you are interested, or if you have any questions. We look forward to hearing from you, Maya. He then, with a curt nod, ushered his mother and assistant out of the diner. The assistant shot Maya one last, suspicious glance, a clear warning in her eyes, before disappearing through the door. The bell jingled once more, and then the diner was quiet again. But this time, it was a different kind of quiet, a quiet filled with wonder and questions, and a dizzying sense of possibility. Brenda rushed over, snatching up the card as soon as Elias was out of sight, almost tearing it from the counter in her excitement. Oh my goodness, Maya, a job with the Hayes family? This is huge. This is unbelievable. You have to do it. This is your destiny. Maya stared at the card in Brenda's hand. Elias Hayes's name seemed to glow, almost pulsating with power and unspoken opportunity. It felt heavy, like a huge, life-changing secret, dropped right into her lap, a burden, and a blessing. "I don't know, Brenda," Maya whispered, her voice full of uncertainty, her heart pounding. It's just not me. I'm just a waitress. I don't belong in that world. I'm too quiet for it." "Nonsense," Brenda exclaimed, her eyes wide with excitement. "You have a skill, a rare skill. This is your chance, Maya. Your ticket out of this place, out of this small life, out of everything you ever thought you were." She gestured wildly around the diner as if to emphasize its smallness, its limitations. Maya looked at the greasy counters, the worn booths, the chipped mugs. This was her safe place, her routine. Her entire adult life laid out predictably before her. The idea of stepping into the world of Elias Hayes, a world of mansions and power, felt terrifying. What if she wasn't good enough? What if she made a mistake, embarrassed herself? Or worse, Eleanor? What if they asked her about her past, about Lily, a past she had worked so hard to bury? But then she remembered Eleanor's smile, the pure joy in her eyes, a light that shone only for Maya, the easy flow of their signed conversation, a language only they shared, that feeling of connection, of being truly seen and understood, of bringing happiness to another. It was a feeling she hadn't known she missed so much, a deep hunger she hadn't realized she had. It pulled at her, a silent song of hope, stronger than her fear. The card felt like a burning coal in Brenda's hand, radiating possibility, a tangible link to a different future. Maya knew she had to make a choice. Stay hidden and safe, forever a waitress in a small diner, or step into the light and see where this unexpected path might lead. Her future, once so clearly mapped out in her mind, was suddenly a wide-open question mark, full of daunting but exciting unknowns, and a chance for a different kind of happiness. Maya sat alone in her tiny apartment. The city sounds outside felt distant, muffled by her own thoughts, which swirled relentlessly. The business card lay on her worn wooden table, a stark contrast to her simple life, an alien object in her familiar surroundings. She traced the embossed letters with her finger. Elias Hayes. The name felt powerful, almost dangerous, promising both great reward and unknown risks, a path into a life she couldn't fully grasp. She ate a simple dinner of instant noodles, but she barely tasted them. Her mind was a whirlwind of thoughts, spinning faster than the city traffic below. Brenda's excited words echoed in her ears. "Your ticket out." But was it? Or was it a trap? A way for her to get hurt again, to expose herself to the kind of profound pain she had known before, the pain of loss and abandonment? Maya thought about her dream, her small art studio. Her hands, covered in paint, creating beauty, telling stories without words, pouring her heart onto a canvas. This job with Mrs. Hayes could provide the money she needed. More money than she could ever make at the Rusty Spoon, even with years of saving, carefully hoarding every penny. It would be a step towards her dream. A big step, a leap, really, into a new future, a chance to finally create. But it also meant opening up. It meant letting people see a part of her she had kept hidden for years, a part she had buried with her past. It meant facing memories she had locked away, memories that still held a sharp edge of pain, memories of a bright, vibrant little girl. She remembered Lily. Lily, with her bright, intelligent eyes, her quick, expressive hands. Lily, who had taught Maya to sign when they were both children, sharing a secret language and a bond that felt unbreakable. They had been inseparable, best friends from the moment they met, two halves of a whole. Lily's family lived next door to Maya's. When Maya was young, Lily was deaf, and Maya's parents, seeing their daughter's instant connection, had encouraged Maya to learn sign language so they could play together fully, so their worlds could truly meet. It started as a friendship, but it grew into something deeper, a sisterhood. Lily was the sister Maya never had. They shared everything: dreams, secrets, even silent jokes that only their hands understood, a world known only to them, beautiful and private. Then, at age 10, Lily's family had moved away suddenly. No goodbyes, no farewell party, just a crumpled note from Lily's mother saying they were leaving the state, too distraught to offer more explanation or comfort. Maya was heartbroken, devastated, the world seeming to tilt on its axis. It felt like a part of her had been ripped away, a gaping wound left behind. She had promised to write, to call, but letters stopped coming back. Phone calls went unanswered. Slowly, painfully, Lily faded from her life, leaving a void that Maya tried to fill with silence and withdrawal, retreating further into herself. After Lily left, Maya stopped signing. She stopped talking about Lily. It was too painful to remember, too painful to speak of, a wound that throbbed with every thought. It felt like a wound that never quite healed, always tender beneath the surface, protected by a fragile scar. Her shyness grew, becoming a protective shell, a way to keep the world at bay. She learned to guard herself, to keep her feelings and her past hidden, to avoid any chance of such profound loss again. She didn't want to get hurt like that again. The world had shown her how easily things and people could be taken away. Now, this card, this opportunity, it felt like fate, or a cruel twist of irony. Using the very skills she had learned from Lily, the skills she had buried, the language of her lost friend, to help another deaf woman. It was unsettling, yet profoundly compelling. Drawing her in with an invisible thread, she picked up the phone. Her fingers hovered over the numbers printed on the elegant card, each digit feeling charged with unspoken meaning. Her heart pounded in her chest, a frantic drumbeat against her ribs. What if Elias Hayes was just trying to use her, to exploit her unique skill for his own family's comfort? What if he was testing her, playing some kind of rich man's game, where she was just a pawn? He was a billionaire, after all. He probably had an army of people ready to do his bidding, to solve any problem with money. But then, she pictured Eleanor's face, the genuine delight, the pure joy in her eyes, a light that shone so clearly. The loneliness in her eyes, too, that Maya recognized, that resonated deep within her own solitary spirit. It reminded Maya of Lily, of that pure, unspoken need for connection, for understanding, for someone to share her silent world. It was a need that transcended wealth and social standing, a truly human need. A voice in her head whispered, growing stronger, *, take the chance, Maya. For Lily, for yourself. Don't let fear hold you back. This could be what you've been waiting for. *. She took a shaky breath, letting it out slowly, consciously trying to calm her racing pulse. She closed her eyes, remembering Lily's infectious laugh, the way her hands flew when she was excited, a flurry of beautiful movements that spoke volumes. It felt like a betrayal to keep this gift hidden any longer, to deny it its purpose. Maybe it was time to honor Lily's memory by using the language they had shared, by bringing joy to another lonely heart, by stepping into the light herself. With trembling fingers, Maya dialed the number. It rang once, then twice. A crisp, professional voice answered. Hayes Residence. How may I direct your call? Hello, Maya said, her voice small but clear, surprisingly steady. My name is Maya. I'm calling about Mrs. Hayes. Mr. Hayes gave me this number yesterday. The person on the other end, Elias, Hayes's assistant, recognized her name immediately. Ah, yes, Miss. Hayes mentioned you. She's expecting your call. Mr. Hayes also informed me. Can you come in for an interview tomorrow afternoon at 3? We'll arrange for a car to pick you up at your address. Maya's breath hitched. Tomorrow? So soon? A car to pick her up? The sudden reality of it almost overwhelmed her, the speed at which her life was changing. Yes, she managed to say, her voice gaining a little strength, a new resolve. Yes, I can. That would be fine, thank you. Very good. I'll send you the address and the car details. Please be prompt, miss. The assistant's voice was sharp, efficient, and then the line clicked. She had hung up, leaving Maya in stunned silence. Maya slowly lowered the phone. She had done it. She had stepped onto a path she never imagined, a world away from the rusty spoon and her tiny apartment. There was no going back now. The decision was made. The fear was still there, a cold knot in her stomach, but beneath it, a tiny spark of excitement began to glow, a hopeful flame. A spark of hope for her future, for her art studio, and perhaps a quiet healing for her past. The journey had truly begun, taking her to places she never dreamed possible. The next afternoon, Maya stood outside the Hayes mansion. It wasn't just big, it was enormous. A castle, really, sprawling across a vast estate that stretched further than she could see. Tall iron gates, intricate and imposing, guarded a long, winding driveway that disappeared into a canopy of ancient trees, casting dappled shadows. Manicured lawns stretched out on either side, emerald green and perfectly tended, without a single blade of grass out of place. Fountains sprayed water into clear pools, the soft murmur of the water the only sound in the otherwise silent grandeur. Every stone, every leaf, seemed perfectly placed, a testament to endless care and immeasurable wealth. Maya felt tiny, insignificant, out of place, in her best, but still simple, pale blue dress. It was a color that usually made her feel calm, serene, a small comfort. Today, it did nothing to calm her racing heart, which pounded a frantic rhythm against her ribs, a drum solo of anxiety. Her old, slightly scuffed shoes felt utterly wrong on the polished, pristine driveway, a clear sign of her humble origins, making her feel like an imposter. She rang the bell at the gate, her finger trembling slightly. A moment later, with a soft hum and a slow, heavy creak, the massive iron gates slowly swung open, revealing the grand entrance to the house itself. She walked up the long drive, her footsteps echoing in the quiet, almost sterile silence, each step feeling heavy with anticipation. The sheer wealth of it all was overwhelming, suffocating almost. This was not just a different world, it was a different planet entirely, a place she could barely imagine existing, let alone belonging to. A stern-faced butler, dressed in a crisp uniform with white gloves, opened the massive front door. He led Maya through a grand foyer that seemed to stretch on forever, its ceiling soaring high above. Marble floors gleamed under a huge, glittering crystal chandelier that cast sparkling patterns on the walls, reflecting the light. Priceless paintings, some of them by world-famous artists, hung on the walls, their frames heavy with gold. It smelled of expensive wood and fresh flowers, a rich, sophisticated scent that was entirely new to her. Maya kept her eyes mostly on her feet, trying not to stare, trying not to look too impressed or too out of place. She felt like an intruder, a stray bird accidentally flown into a gilded cage, completely out of her depth. The butler led her to a large, elegant living room. Light streamed in through tall windows, illuminating the tasteful decor and the rich textures of the furniture. Plush sofas and armchairs, upholstered in rich fabrics, were arranged around a grand fireplace, large enough to stand in, its mantelpiece adorned with intricate carvings. Elias Hayes sat in one of the armchairs, reading a financial newspaper, completely at ease in his opulent surroundings. He looked up as she entered, lowering his paper slowly. His gaze was just as sharp and piercing as she remembered, making her feel instantly scrutinized, every detail of her appearance noted. "Maya," Thank you for coming, he said, folding his newspaper precisely and placing it neatly on a small antique table beside him. His voice was calm, controlled, betraying no immediate emotion, yet held a subtle expectation. Thank you for having me, sir, Maya replied, her voice barely above a whisper, still feeling overwhelmed by the grandeur and his presence. She clasped her hands tightly in front of her, trying to appear composed. Please, sit. He gestured to a chair opposite him, a comfortable-looking velvet armchair that felt too grand for her. Maya sat down carefully, on the very edge of the plush cushion. It felt too soft, too luxurious, almost as if she might sink into it and disappear, swallowed by its richness. My mother is very much looking forward to meeting with you, Elias began, his voice taking on a slightly softer edge when speaking of Eleanor. She spoke of little else after your encounter yesterday. You made quite an impression, a very positive one, which is rare for her. Maya felt a small sense of relief, a little warmth in her chest. At least Eleanor was happy. That was the most important thing. We understand you have a full-time position at the diner, Elias continued, his tone returning to business-like efficiency. We are willing to offer you a salary that will more than cover your current earnings, for a set number of hours per week. Flexible, of course, to accommodate your schedule and your other commitments, whatever they may be. He named a figure. Maya's eyes widened in disbelief. It was more than twice what she made at the diner, a sum she had only dreamed of in her wildest fantasies. It was enough to seriously boost her art studio dream, to make it a tangible reality much sooner than she ever thought possible. Your duties would be primarily to engage with my mother, he explained, his gaze steady. Converse with her, stimulate her mind, provide intellectual companionship. Read to her, she enjoys that immensely, and there are many books she hasn't had the chance to experience in sign language. Perhaps accompany her on outings, to museums, or for walks in the park, anything that brings her joy. Essentially, to be a companion who can communicate fluently and easily with her, someone who can bring joy and mental engagement to her day, someone she can truly connect with. Maya listened, her mind buzzing with the numbers, with the incredible possibilities opening up before her. A whirlwind of new thoughts and hopes. This was real. This could change everything about her life, completely rewrite her future, take her down a path she never dared to imagine. Do you have any questions, Maya? Elias asked, his gaze direct, waiting patiently for her response. Maya hesitated. She wanted to ask about her past, about why they chose her, a simple waitress, for such an important role. She wanted to ask if he had known about Lily, if he had suspected her true connection to his family. But she held back, fear of rejection outweighing her curiosity, the risk too great. She didn't want to seem ungrateful or difficult, not now, when so much was at stake. No, sir, she said, finally, trying to keep her voice steady and confident. It sounds wonderful, truly wonderful. I am very interested. Elias gave a slight, almost imperceptible nod. Good. Then, if you're agreeable, we can try a trial period, a month perhaps, to ensure it's a good fit for both parties, for you and my mother. If it works well, we can make it a more permanent arrangement. My mother's happiness is our top priority, and you seem to be the key to it. Before Maya could reply, before she could even process the full weight of his words, the assistant from the diner entered the room. Her sharp footsteps announced her presence before she even spoke. She held a sleek tablet, her expression as stern and disapproving as ever, clearly unhappy with the extended meeting. Mr. Hayes, Mrs. Hayes is ready for her meeting with the garden designer. You're due in 5 minutes. Excellent, Elias said, his professional demeanor returning instantly, the slight softening of his face disappearing. Thank you, Sarah. Maya, come along. My mother is eager to see you, I believe. We'll walk down together. Goodbye, sir, Maya said, her voice still quiet, but with a newfound determination. As she followed Elias, her heart pounded again, a mixture of excitement and fear, uncertainty and hope. This was it. The trial. The beginning of her new life, or a confusing, potentially heartbreaking step into a world that wasn't truly hers. She just hoped she was ready for it. She hoped she was good enough, worthy of this incredible chance. The money was tempting, the dream of her studio within reach, but the real pull was the memory of Eleanor's face, filled with joy, a lonely woman needing a friend. And Maya, a lonely woman needing connection, and finding an unexpected path to it. Elias led Maya through another ornate hallway, past more exquisite artwork and sculptures, into a room that was truly a sanctuary. It was a vast library, filled with books from floor to ceiling. Heavy, dark wooden shelves lined every wall, groaning under the weight of countless volumes. It was a beautiful, comforting space, smelling of old paper and leather, a place of quiet knowledge and endless stories. Eleanor Hayes sat in a large, comfortable armchair by a tall window, bathed in soft, natural light, a book resting open on her lap. She looked up, her face lighting up with a radiant smile when she saw Maya, her eyes sparkling. Eleanor signed quickly, her hands expressing pure delight and eagerness. Asterisk. You came! I'm so happy to see you. I was hoping you would. I've been waiting for you. Asterisk. Maya felt a genuine smile spread across her face, mirroring Eleanor's warmth. All her nervousness, all her lingering feelings of being out of place, seemed to melt away in that moment, replaced by a sense of calm. She signed back, her hands moving with natural ease. Asterisk. Hello, Eleanor. It's truly good to see you too. This library is magnificent. I could get lost in here. Asterisk. Elias watched them, a small, unreadable expression on his face, perhaps a hint of relief or satisfaction at seeing his mother so happy. I'll leave you two to it, he said, his voice softer than before, a rare indulgence. The assistant will check in periodically. My mother will explain the house rules, Maya, so don't worry about anything. Just enjoy your time. With a nod, he left the room, closing the heavy wooden door behind him, leaving them in a peaceful solitude, surrounded by books. Maya and Eleanor were alone. The quiet hum of the mansion was barely audible, replaced by the soft sounds of pages turning and the gentle rustle of their hands. Eleanor immediately began signing, her hands graceful and quick, her expressions lively and animated. Asterisk. Please call me Eleanor. Mrs. Hayes sounds so formal, and we are friends, aren't we? It feels right. Sit, sit, make yourself comfortable, tell me everything. Asterisk. She gestured to the armchair opposite her, a matching velvet piece that looked inviting. Maya sat down, feeling much more at ease now that Elias was gone. The pressure of his watchful eyes lifted. Asterisk. Eleanor. Of course. You have a beautiful library. So many books. What is your favorite? Asterisk. She signed, truly admiring the collection, feeling a shared love for stories. Asterisk. Thank you. I love books, even if I can't hear them. They are my silent friends, my companions in this quiet house. But it's much better to have someone read them to me. To give them a voice, even if it's through hands. It truly brings them to life for me, fills them with sound. Asterisk. Eleanor's eyes twinkled with a mischievous sparkle. Asterisk. Elias tells me you agreed to help me. Is this true? Is it real? I hope so. Asterisk. Asterisk. Yes, Eleanor. I'd be honored to. I really would. I'm excited about it. Asterisk. Maya signed back, feeling a warmth spread through her chest, a sense of purpose. This was exactly what she had hoped for, a real connection, a purpose beyond simply serving coffee, a chance to use her hidden talent. Asterisk, wonderful, absolutely wonderful. Asterisk, Eleanor clapped her hands silently, her joy evident in every movement. Asterisk, my son explained the arrangement. I want to make sure you are comfortable, that you feel at home here, like a welcomed guest. We can start with just a few hours. What would you like to do first? Read or just talk? I have so many stories I want to share with you, and I want to hear yours. I feel like we have much to talk about. Asterisk Maya spent the next 2 hours with Eleanor. They talked, their hands flying through stories and thoughts, sharing pieces of their lives. Eleanor shared stories of her childhood, growing up in a different time, learning to navigate a world that wasn't always kind to those who couldn't hear, facing challenges with grace. She spoke of her deep love for her son, Elias, and how proud she was of him, even if he was a little too serious sometimes, too consumed by his work, and sometimes distant. She shared her quiet hopes and simple pleasures. Maya, in turn, found herself opening up, slowly, gently, like a flower unfurling. Not about Lily, not directly, not the full, painful story. That wound was still too tender. But about her own love for art, her dream of having a studio, the quiet struggles she faced, the challenges of being shy and feeling unseen. Eleanor listened with genuine interest, signing thoughtful questions, her face radiating understanding, a profound empathy that Maya rarely encountered. Eleanor became more than a boss. She became a mentor, a confidant, almost a grandmother figure, a source of unwavering support and quiet wisdom. Asterisk. You must show me your art someday, Maya. Asterisk, Eleanor signed, her eyes sparkling with enthusiasm. Asterisk. I would absolutely love to see what your hands create. I have a feeling they create beauty, a reflection of your wonderful spirit. Asterisk. Maya felt a warmth spread through her. It was the first time in years she had shared her dream with someone and been met with such genuine encouragement and belief, not just polite interest. Eleanor wasn't just a rich woman. She was kind, thoughtful, and deeply understanding, a kindred spirit who saw beyond her humble job. As the afternoon drew to a close, the assistant returned, her sharp knock echoing through the quiet library, a stark interruption. Time for Mrs. Hayes's afternoon tea, she announced stiffly, her gaze sweeping over Maya with an almost suspicious glare, clearly assessing the situation. Asterisk. Thank you, Maya. Asterisk, Eleanor signed, her smile still bright, a genuine warmth in her eyes. Asterisk. I had a wonderful time. The best in a long time. Will you come back tomorrow? Please say yes. I already look forward to it. Asterisk, asterisk. Yes, Eleanor. I'd love to. I'll be here. Asterisk, Maya signed back, feeling a real joy in her heart, a sense of belonging she hadn't felt in ages, a new purpose filling her. The assistant led Maya out of the library and back through the mansion, her heels clicking loudly on the marble floors, the sounds echoing through the grand spaces. As they walked, the assistant turned to Maya, her voice low and sharp, a hiss that cut through the pleasant memories. A word of warning, miss. You are here to work for Mrs. Hayes. Mr. Hayes is a very private man. His mother is his greatest treasure, and he is very protective of her. Do not, under any circumstances, try to take advantage of her kindness, or him. This is a job, nothing more. Understand your place. Maya felt a chill run down her spine, a cold knot forming in her stomach. The assistant's words were a cold splash of reality, a harsh reminder of her place, of the vast social gap between them. This wasn't just about friendship, about shared joy. This was about a rich family, their rules, and their secrets. And there was someone watching her, judging her every move, ready to find fault, ready to remind her she was an outsider. The open warmth she felt with Eleanor was suddenly overshadowed by the stern warning. The two worlds were clashing, and Maya felt caught precariously in the middle, a fragile bridge between them. The next day, Maya worked her shift at the Rusty Spoon. Everything felt different. The diner, once her whole world, now seemed smaller, dimmer, almost claustrophobic, its walls closing in. The smells of grease and stale coffee felt heavier, more oppressive. Brenda was buzzing with questions, practically bursting with uncontainable curiosity about her new venture. "So, how was it? The mansion? Is it like in the movies, Maya? Like something out of a fairy tale, with servants and huge rooms?" Brenda asked, scrubbing at a stubborn spot on the counter, her eyes wide with vicarious excitement, wanting every detail. "It's big, Brenda. Very big. And beautiful," Maya said, trying to keep her answers short, generic, to protect the fragile new world she was entering. She didn't want to talk about Eleanor's kindness or the assistant's chilling warning, not with Brenda. "And the old lady? Is she nice? Is Elias Hayes around a lot? Did he say anything else to you?" "Spill the beans," Brenda pressed, not giving up easily, her curiosity boundless. Maya just nodded, focusing intently on refilling sugar packets, trying to make the task last, to escape Brenda's questions. She was due at the mansion again in the afternoon, and a mix of nerves and eagerness fluttered in her stomach. The contrast between her two lives was stark. One was gray and routine, predictable and safe. The other, vibrant and full of new experiences, but also filled with unspoken rules and hidden dangers, a constant tightrope walk. Weeks turned into a month. Maya's life became a delicate balance, a tightrope walk between two very different worlds. Mornings at the diner, afternoons at the mansion, a constant shift in atmosphere and expectations. She found herself thriving in Eleanor's company, her spirit blossoming under Eleanor's gentle guidance and genuine interest. They read books together, Maya's hands bringing the stories to life with graceful, expressive movements, Eleanor's face lighting up with understanding and delight, a truly fulfilling connection. They discussed art, politics, shared quiet moments, and even laughed over silly TV shows, finding common ground despite their different lives. Eleanor's deep-seated loneliness seemed to lessen with each visit, replaced by a lively spark, a renewed zest for life and conversation. Maya also slowly started to open up more. She still didn't talk about Lily, not directly, not the full, painful story. But she shared more about her hopes, her past struggles, the challenges of being shy, of feeling unseen and unheard for so long. Eleanor listened, truly listened, with an understanding that Maya had never felt before, a deep empathy that transcended words, a silent bond. Eleanor became more than a boss. She became a mentor, a confidant, almost a grandmother figure, a source of unwavering support and quiet wisdom, a true friend. During this time, Maya rarely saw Elias Hayes. He was a busy man, always working, always traveling, a whirlwind of business meetings and phone calls, rarely present in the mansion's domestic sphere. When she did see him, he was polite, professional, but his gaze often lingered on her for a moment longer than necessary, a silent question in his eyes. He'd often ask Eleanor in sign language if she was enjoying her time with Maya, if Maya was meeting her expectations. Eleanor always signed back with glowing reviews, her hands full of praise for Maya's spirit and talent. Elias would then give Maya a small, approving nod, a subtle acknowledgement that she was doing well, that she was valued, a silent seal of approval. The assistant, Sarah, however, remained cold, distant. She watched Maya like a hawk, her eyes sharp and suspicious, always present for drop-offs and pickups, always making sure Maya didn't stray from the library or the designated sitting areas. Maya felt her suspicion keenly, a constant, uncomfortable pressure, an invisible chain. It was a constant reminder of the strict boundaries of her new job, a wall between her and true acceptance in this world, a constant guard against her. One afternoon, Eleanor had a rare doctor's appointment. Elias came home early to take her, his schedule clearing for this important duty, a clear sign of his devotion to his mother. Maya was scheduled to leave, but as she walked through the foyer, on her way out, she saw a magnificent painting hanging on the wall. It was a vast landscape, full of vibrant colors and bold brushstrokes, depicting a wild, untamed coastline under a dramatic sky. It captivated her, pulling her in with its raw beauty and emotional depth. She stopped, completely lost in the art, forgetting where she was, forgetting her surroundings. "Do you like it?" Maya jumped, startled, her heart leaping into her throat. Elias Hayes stood behind her, his voice low, his presence quiet. She hadn't heard him approach, so absorbed was she in the painting, lost in its world. "Oh, yes, sir, it's beautiful," Maya said, her heart fluttering from the surprise. "The colors, they just sing. It feels so alive, so real, like I can almost hear the waves." Elias walked closer, standing beside her, looking at the painting too, his posture relaxed for once, sharing a quiet moment of appreciation. "It's one of my mother's favorites. From her personal collection, she has quite an eye for art. It reminds me of freedom," Maya whispered, almost to herself, caught in the painting's spell. The words flowing naturally. The wildness of the sea, the endless sky, the untouched nature. It speaks to something deep inside me. Elias looked at her, a different expression on his face this time. Less like a CEO, more like someone genuinely curious, truly interested in her thoughts, not just her work. "Freedom? That's an interesting way to put it, Maya. Can you tell me why?" "Yes," Maya said, gathering a little courage, encouraged by his genuine interest, by the unexpected question. The way the light hits the trees, the untamed waves. It's like the artist knew how to capture hope, boundless possibility, a world without limits. I paint a little too, sir. Nothing like this, of course. Just small pieces." She instantly regretted saying it. It was too much, too personal, too revealing, stepping outside her defined role. Elias raised an eyebrow, a flicker of surprise in his eyes. "You paint? I didn't know that. My mother mentioned you had an interest in art, but not that you practiced it yourself, with such passion." Maya flushed, embarrassed by her confession, her cheeks burning. "It's just a hobby, sir. Nothing serious. Just a way to express myself, to put my feelings into something beautiful." "Perhaps you should show my mother sometime," Elias suggested, a thoughtful look on his face, his gaze lingering on her. "She would appreciate it greatly, and she has an excellent eye for talent, a keen sense of beauty. I'm sure she would be delighted." He seemed to genuinely consider it, not just dismiss it as a trivial pastime. Just then, Sarah, the assistant, walked into the foyer, her footsteps sharp on the marble floor, a familiar, unwelcome sound. She took in the scene, Elias and Maya standing close, looking at a painting, talking, a shared, personal moment. Her eyes narrowed, a clear flash of disapproval, a tightening of her lips. "Mr. Hayes, your next conference call starts in 5 minutes. It's an important one, a crucial negotiation." Elias sighed, a rare, subtle display of mild frustration at the interruption, breaking the spell. "Right, thank you, Sarah. We'll be there. Maya, we will speak more about this. We will see you tomorrow." "Goodbye, sir," Maya said, her voice still quiet, but with a newfound determination. She felt the warmth of their shared moment vanish, replaced by the assistant's cold presence. The brief connection they had just shared was gone, replaced by the usual formality, the invisible wall between them rising once more, reinforced by Sarah's watchful gaze. As Maya walked out, she couldn't shake the feeling that she had crossed an invisible line, that she had revealed too much, exposed a vulnerable part of herself. Her shy, quiet world was becoming tangled with the complex, powerful world of the Hayes family, and it was a dangerous place, full of unspoken rules and high expectations. And the assistant seemed determined to keep those worlds separate, to keep Maya in her place, a constant reminder of the boundaries. A few weeks later, emboldened by Eleanor's constant encouragement, by her unwavering belief, Maya brought a small portfolio of her artwork to the mansion. She had debated it for days, the assistant's sharp warning echoing in her mind, a nagging doubt. But Eleanor's genuine enthusiasm for art, her unwavering belief in Maya's talent, had won her over, pushing her past her fears. "Eleanor, I brought something to show you today," Maya signed, a little shyly, her heart fluttering with a mix of excitement and nerves, as she sat down in the library, the familiar sanctuary. Eleanor clapped her hands silently, her eyes bright with anticipation, a wide smile spreading across her face. Asterisk. "Oh, good! I've been waiting for this. I knew you would bring something. Show me!" Asterisk. Maya carefully opened her worn portfolio, the leather creaking softly. Inside were sketches, watercolors, and a few small acrylic paintings. Landscapes, portraits, abstract pieces, all showed a talent that went far beyond a mere hobby. A raw, undeniable artistic vision, a deep well of creativity. The colors were rich, the lines confident, the emotions palpable, speaking to a world beyond words. Eleanor took each piece in her hands, holding them gently, reverently, tracing the lines with her fingers, her expression one of deep concentration and pure delight. Asterisk. Maya. "These are stunning." "Absolutely beautiful. They speak to my soul. You are a true artist, my dear, a gifted one, with a unique voice." Asterisk. She signed, her eyes wide with admiration, her face radiating joy. Asterisk. "Why have you kept this hidden for so long? Such beauty needs to be seen. It must be shared." Asterisk. Maya shrugged, a sad smile on her face, the weight of old fears pressing in. Asterisk. "It's hard to make a living as an artist, Eleanor. It's a difficult path. And I haven't always had the courage to show my work. I was afraid of being judged, of not being good enough, of failing." Asterisk. She didn't explain the full story, the past hurts, the fears of judgment, the memory of Lily's encouragement, and then her sudden absence, leaving Maya to face the world alone without her biggest champion. Asterisk. "This isn't just a hobby, Maya. This is a gift, a true calling, a passion that must be followed." Asterisk. Eleanor insisted, her hands firm, her conviction clear and powerful. Asterisk. "You must pursue this. You must open your studio. The world needs to see your art, your unique vision." Asterisk. Their conversation, filled with art and dreams, was suddenly interrupted by a sharp, insistent knock on the library door. It was Elias Hayes. He rarely visited during Maya's sessions, usually consumed by his work, so his appearance was a surprise, an unexpected intrusion into their private world. Eleanor's smile grew even wider, filled with pride and excitement. Asterisk. "Elias, come in! Look what Maya has shown me! Her amazing art! You must see this!" Asterisk. Elias walked over, a stack of important-looking papers in his hand, his usual serious demeanor still present. He glanced at the artwork, his eyes, scanning them quickly, then lingering, taking in the details. His eyes, usually so focused on business, on numbers and facts, softened slightly as he took in the colors and forms, a rare vulnerability. "Mother has been quite excited about your artistic pursuits, Maya," he said, a genuine note of warmth in his voice, a hint of admiration. He looked at a watercolor painting of a lonely lighthouse against a stormy sky, a piece filled with quiet, profound emotion. This is quite powerful, Maya, very moving. It truly captures a feeling. Maya felt a blush creep up her neck, a wave of pride and embarrassment mixing together. Elias rarely offered such personal comments, such open praise, especially not to her. Asterisk, she's so talented, Elias, so incredibly gifted, asterisk, Eleanor signed, holding up one of Maya's detailed sketches, her face glowing with pride, as if it were her own work. Asterisk, we must help her open her studio. It's her dream, and she deserves it. We must do something. Asterisk, Elias looked at his mother, then back at Maya, a thoughtful, calculating look crossing his face, but now mingled with a new understanding, a new respect. Indeed, I agree, Mother. Perhaps we can discuss ways to support your ambition, Maya. My family has some connections in the art world, influential people, and I believe we can certainly help you get started, to find your place, to launch your career properly. Maya was speechless. Support from Elias Hayes? Connections to the high-stakes art world, a world she only dreamed of? It was more than she could have ever dreamed, more than she had ever dared to hope for. Her dream studio, once a distant star, suddenly felt like a possibility within reach, a solid, tangible reality, shining brightly. Before Maya could respond, before she could even utter a word of thanks, Sarah, the assistant, appeared at the library door, her presence always a harbinger of formality and unwelcome interruption. Her face was tight, her eyes darting between Elias, Eleanor, and Maya's artwork, a clear look of suspicion and disapproval, almost possessive. Mr. Hayes, your next conference call starts in 5 minutes. It's an important one, a crucial negotiation with international partners. Elias sighed, a rare display of mild frustration at the interruption, breaking the moment. Right. Thank you, Sarah. We'll be there. He gave Maya a quick, almost apologetic nod. Maya, we will speak more about this. Soon. I promise. Asterisk. Yes, we must. Asterisk, Eleanor signed to Maya, a determined look on her face, a promise in her eyes, despite the interruption. As Elias left, Sarah lingered for a moment, her gaze sweeping over Maya's artwork, then settling on Maya herself. Her eyes held a mixture of suspicion and something else, almost like resentment, a silent warning. Miss, she said, her voice barely a whisper, cold and sharp, like chipped ice. You seem to be getting very comfortable here. Remember your place. Remember why you were hired, and what that entails. She then turned crisply and followed Elias out, leaving Maya with a renewed sense of unease, a chill running through her. Maya felt a pang. Sarah's words were a cold shower, washing away the warmth of Elias's unexpected offer and Eleanor's heartfelt praise. It was a clear warning, a boundary drawn in the sand. It reminded Maya of the vast social gap between her and the Hayes family, a chasm she could never fully cross, no matter how close she felt. Was she truly being seen as an artist, as a valued companion, or just a plaything, a project for the wealthy to amuse themselves with, someone easily replaced? The world of the Hayes family was full of promise, but also hidden dangers, unspoken rules, and constant scrutiny. Maya knew she had to be careful, to guard herself, to navigate this new landscape with caution. The stakes were getting higher, and she felt increasingly vulnerable, yet also more determined. A few weeks later, a crisp spring breeze rustled through the leaves as Maya and Eleanor were sitting in the mansion's sprawling gardens. It was a beautiful spring day, the air soft and fragrant with blooming flowers, a symphony of colors and scents. Eleanor was explaining the different types of roses, pointing out their names and their unique scents with elegant, expressive signs. her face alight with pleasure. Maya listened, enchanted by Eleanor's stories and the peaceful beauty of the place, feeling a rare sense of contentment and belonging. Their bond had deepened considerably. Maya had even begun to talk about Lily, her childhood best friend, a memory she had guarded so fiercely for so long. Not the full story, not yet, but snippets, small, precious memories. About how Lily had taught her sign language, about their childhood games, the secrets they shared, the pure joy of their silent communication, a bond unique and profound. Eleanor listened with genuine empathy, her eyes reflecting understanding and a shared sense of loss. She understood the pain of losing a close friend, especially one who shared a unique, profound bond like a special language, a silent world only two could share. Suddenly, Eleanor paused. Her eyes, usually so bright and full of life, grew distant, a shadow passing over them, as if she had wandered into a painful memory. She signed, slowly, her hands heavy with memory and sorrow, "You know, you remind me so much of my granddaughter, so very much. The way you move your hands, your gentle spirit." Maya blinked, surprised by the sudden shift in conversation, a knot forming in her stomach. "Your granddaughter?" She signed, a question in her eyes. She knew Elias had no children, so this was a mystery, an unexpected revelation. Eleanor nodded sadly, a profound sadness settling on her features. "Yes, my daughter's child, my only granddaughter. She passed away many years ago. It was a long time ago, but it still feels like yesterday. She was deaf, just like me, a beautiful, vibrant girl." Maya felt a chill run down. Her spine, a cold dread starting to spread. "Lily?" Her blood ran cold. "My Lily?" No, it couldn't be. "Not her. I'm so sorry, Eleanor." Maya signed, her voice a strained whisper, even though no sound came out, her hands trembling. Her heart began to pound with a terrible, dawning suspicion, a fear so profound it made her breathless. Her name was Lily, Eleanor signed, her hands moving slowly, with a heavy sorrow, recounting a painful memory that still haunted her. She was so full of life, so bright, so adventurous. She had a friend, a hearing girl, who learned sign language just for her, so they could play together, so they could share everything. They were inseparable, like two halves of a whole, two peas in a pod. Eleanor looked at Maya, her eyes filled with a deep, aching sadness, the pain still raw after all these years. It was a long time ago. My daughter, Elias's sister, Lily's mother, she moved away after the accident. It was too hard for her to stay here, too many painful memories in this house. She cut all ties with us, unable to bear the grief. We lost touch for a while. It was a very dark time for our family, losing both of them, a time filled with silence and sorrow. 10 years old. A car accident. Deaf. Lily. It all matched. Every single detail, every heartbreaking piece of the puzzle, Maya's Lily. It had to be. The world spun around her, a dizzying revelation, a devastating truth. Her best friend, the one she had thought simply moved away, had actually died, and her grandmother, the kind woman she had grown to love, was Eleanor Hayes. Elias Hayes's niece was her times Lily. The coincidence was too profound, too painful to be ignored, impossible to dismiss. Maya felt a wave of nausea, a cold dread gripping her. The secret she had buried, the pain she thought she had healed, the unanswered questions she had carried for so long crashed over her with overwhelming force. Her hands trembled violently, unable to form signs, her mind reeling, struggling to accept this impossible truth. Asterisk. What kind of accident, Eleanor? Where did it happen? Asterisk, Maya signed, her voice a strained whisper, even though no sound came out, desperation in her eyes. She needed to know everything, every detail, to piece together the shattered fragments of her past. Eleanor sighed, a silent, heartbroken sound, her shoulders slumping. Asterisk. A car accident. It happened just down the road from here, a tragic misjudgment. Lily was so young, only 10. My daughter, her mother, was driving. It wasn't her fault, the police said. It was an unfortunate turn of events, a terrible twist of fate. But she blamed herself. She packed up everything and left, unable to bear the grief, unable to stay here anymore. We lost touch for a while. It was a very dark time for our family, a time filled with silence and sorrow, a wound that never truly healed. Asterisk. 10 years old. A car accident. Deaf. Lily. It all matched. Every single devastating detail. Maya's Lily. It had to be. The world spun around her, a dizzying, sickening realization. Her best friend, the one she had thought simply moved away, had actually died, and her grandmother, the kind woman she had grown to love, was Eleanor Hayes. Maya felt a wave of nausea, a cold dread. The secret she had buried, the pain she thought she had healed, crashed over her. Her hands trembled violently. Asterisk I. I had a friend named Lily, too. Asterisk. Maya signed, her voice barely working. Asterisk. She was deaf. She was 10, and she moved away suddenly when I was a kid. I never knew what happened to her. I thought she just forgot me, that I wasn't important enough. Asterisk. Eleanor's eyes widened, a look of dawning horror and understanding slowly filling her face, reflecting the terrible truth, the shocking revelation. Asterisk. No, it can't be. Asterisk, she signed, her hands shaking, her entire body trembling with the enormity of the discovery. Asterisk, was your Lily's last name? Evans? Lily Evans? Tell me. Asterisk. Maya nodded, tears suddenly, stinging her eyes, blurring her vision, cascading down her cheeks. Asterisk. Yes, Lily Evans. That was her name. She was my best friend, my whole world. Asterisk. Eleanor gasped, a silent, heartbreaking sound that tore through the peaceful garden, echoing the grief of years past. She reached out, grasping Maya's hands tightly, clinging to them. Tears welling in her own eyes, overflowing and streaming down her face, joining Maya's. Asterisk. My goodness. Maya, my dear, you were her friend? The little girl who learned to sign for her? The one she always spoke of, her special Maya? Asterisk. Maya nodded, unable to speak, tears streaming down her face, a mix of profound grief and shocking revelation overwhelming her. All the unanswered questions, all the years of wondering, the quiet pain she had carried, finally made sense, finding its heartbreaking answer. Lily hadn't just moved away, she had died. And her grandmother, this kind, elegant woman, was sitting right in front of her, sharing her grief, a new kind of family. The joy of their friendship, the warmth of their connection, was suddenly mixed with a profound, aching sorrow. It was a terrible, beautiful twist of fate, a reunion steeped in tragedy, a healing born from pain. Maya had found her way back to Lily, through Eleanor, through the very language Lily had taught her. But it also brought back all the pain of loss, sharper and more real than ever, a fresh wound tearing open, demanding to be felt. And then, another, more disturbing thought struck Maya, cold and clear through her tears. Elias Hayes. Did he know? Had he recognized her name, her story? Was this whole job a test? A manipulation? A calculated move? A cold plan? The kind assistant's warning suddenly took on a sinister new meaning, chilling her to the bone, filling her with dread. Maya looked at Eleanor, tears blurring her vision, her heart heavy with both rediscovered love and a fresh wave of fear and suspicion. The two worlds were not just clashing, they were colliding, violently, threatening to unravel everything. Maya and Eleanor sat, hands clasped, tears streaming down their faces. The beautiful garden, moments ago a place of peace, was now charged with overwhelming emotion, a storm of grief and revelation. The truth, so long hidden, had finally come out, shattering the quiet facade, leaving them exposed. Asterisk, my Lily. Gone, asterisk, Eleanor signed, her voice a silent sob, her hands trembling uncontrollably. Asterisk, and you were her, Maya, her special friend. It's a miracle and a tragedy all at once, to find you like this. Asterisk, Maya could only nod, grief and a profound sense of closure washing over her, mingled with confusion and a deep ache for what might have been. Asterisk, I missed her so much, I never knew. I always wondered what happened, where she went. Asterisk. Just then, Elias Hayes walked into the garden. He saw his mother and Maya, both in tears, their hands clasped together, clearly in distress. His brow furrowed in deep concern. He rushed over, his usual composure gone, replaced by urgent worry, sensing the immense gravity of the moment. Mother? Maya? What's wrong? What has happened here? Elias signed, his movements quick and worried, his eyes scanning their faces, searching for answers. Eleanor looked at her son, then at Maya, her eyes still brimming with tears, but also a newfound resolve, a need for honesty. She began to sign, slowly, haltingly, the story of Lily, of Maya, the shocking realization of who Maya truly was, of the profound connection they had all been unknowingly circling for months. Elias listened, his face slowly changing from worry to shock, then to a deep, unsettling understanding, a recognition of a long-buried truth. He looked at Maya, his intense gaze now filled with regret, even pain, a raw honesty she hadn't seen before, a vulnerability that surprised her. Lily Evans? He signed, his voice a low rumble, filled with disbelief, as if the name itself was a ghost. You were Lily's friend? Her Maya? The girl mother? Often spoke of, the one who taught her laughter? Maya nodded, fresh tears falling, her throat tight with emotion, unable to form words. Asterisk. Yes, I was. I still am. She was my Lily. Asterisk. Elias sank onto the bench beside them, his broad shoulders slumping, as if the weight of the world had suddenly settled upon him, crushing him. He looked suddenly tired, the powerful businessman stripped bare by raw emotion, by the ghosts of the past, by his own mistakes. I knew about Lily's friend. Mother spoke of her often, fondly. But I never connected the name Maya to you. Not truly, not definitively, not until now. He hesitated, choosing his words carefully, his gaze on his trembling hands. When you first signed in the diner, it was remarkable. It resonated deeply. It reminded me of Lily's friend, yes, but it felt like a distant memory, a vague echo, a coincidence. I was so focused on Mother's immediate happiness, on finding someone who could truly communicate with her, someone to lift her spirits. I didn't push further. Asterisk. Did you know her last name was Evans? Did you truly not realize? Asterisk. Maya signed, her hands sharp with accusation, her heart heavy with the sense of his deception. Elias looked away, a flicker of profound guilt crossing his face, his gaze fixed on the ground, unable to meet her eyes. I had a feeling, yes, a growing suspicion. After I left the diner, I had Sarah run a background check on you. Just a standard check for anyone working closely with my mother, a security measure. It mentioned your childhood address, a connection to a Lily Evans. But the report only stated that the Evans family were located after the accident. It didn't confirm Lily's death directly. My sister, Lily's mother, she cut all ties with us after what happened. It was too painful for her to remain in contact. We didn't know where she went. I suspected it was you, but I didn't want to confront you. I didn't want to bring up such a painful past for Mother to make her relive it. And I certainly didn't want to upset you, to bring back old wounds for you, Maya. His words confirmed her fears, his partial truth a deeper wound than a complete lie. He had known, or at least suspected enough to hire her under false pretenses to withhold vital information. He had hired her, knowing she might be Lily's friend, without telling her, without telling his own mother. The trust Maya had built with him, fragile as it was, felt shattered, broken into 1,000 pieces by this revelation. You knew I was Lily's friend and you didn't tell me? Maya signed, her hands sharp with anger and hurt, her movements quick and forceful, reflecting her inner turmoil. You let me sit here, for months, talking about my art, my life, sharing my heart, while knowing I had lost my best friend, and you withheld that truth from me? From Eleanor, your own mother? Elias looked genuinely pained, his composure finally cracking completely. I truly am sorry, Maya. More than you know, more than I can express. It was a selfish act, yes, I admit it. But I saw how happy you made my mother. I saw how you brought her back to life, how you made her smile again, truly smile, after years of silence. I feared that bringing up Lily's death would open old wounds, raw and painful, for Mother and for you and for myself. I was wrong. I should have been honest. My only defense is that I wanted to protect my mother, and perhaps myself, from that renewed, overwhelming grief. I thought I was doing the right thing, in my own misguided way, in my fear. Eleanor, who had followed the conversation with heartbreaking clarity, reached out and took Maya's hands again, her touch a comforting anchor in the storm. Asterisk. My son was wrong, Maya. Very wrong. He made a terrible mistake. But he loves me very much. And he saw how much I needed you, how much light you brought back into my life. He acted from a place of fear, not malice. Asterisk. She then looked at Elias, her eyes firm, a quiet strength in her gaze. Mother's wisdom. Asterisk. You should have told us both, Elias. We both needed to know. The truth always finds its way out, eventually. It's better to face it together. Asterisk. Elias nodded, tears in his own eyes now, a rare display of raw emotion from the powerful man, completely vulnerable. You're right, Mother. You're both right. I'm so sorry, truly, deeply sorry, for all the pain I've caused. He looked at Maya, his gaze pleading for understanding, for forgiveness. I know it doesn't make it right, but seeing you and Mother together, seeing her smile again, hearing her laugh, it meant everything to me. It still does. I took a chance. A wrong chance, perhaps, but one that brought us all together in an unexpected way, and for that, I am grateful. Maya looked from Eleanor's heartbroken, understanding face to Elias's rare display of vulnerability. The anger was still there, a hot knot in her stomach, but it was slowly giving way to something else, a weary understanding, a complex mix of emotions. The truth was out, raw and painful, undeniable, and the pain, though acute, was finally being shared, lightened by the presence of others who grieved with her. It was a strange, difficult form of healing, but it was healing nonetheless. The long-closed chapter of Lily's life was finally being reopened, understood, and mourned properly, together. After a long, emotional conversation, one that lasted late into the afternoon, the three of them sat together in the library, the setting sun casting long shadows through the tall windows. The air was heavy, still charged with emotion, but also clearer, lighter, as if a great weight had been lifted from their collective hearts. Maya learned more about Lily's accident, about her mother's profound grief, and her subsequent decision to disappear from their lives, unable to cope with the loss. Elias explained his own struggle with his sister's departure and his mother's deep loneliness that had settled over the mansion like a permanent, silent cloud until Maya arrived. "I still want to help you with your art studio, Maya," Elias said, his voice softer than she'd ever heard it, stripped of its usual authority, filled with genuine intent. "It's the least I can do, after everything that has happened. Not just for Mother, not just for the joy you've brought her, but for you, for Lily. It feels like a way to honor her memory, to bring beauty into the world in her name." Maya looked at him. The initial shock and anger were slowly fading, replaced by a weary understanding, a growing sense of acceptance. She saw the genuine regret in his eyes, the deep sorrow for his past actions. He had made a mistake, a big one, a painful one. But his intentions, though misguided and poorly executed, had come from a place of love for his mother, a desire to ease her suffering. And Maya, knowing what it was like to try and protect loved ones, to carry unspoken grief, understood that complex motivation, however flawed. I would like that, Elias," Maya said, using his first name for the first time, a sign of a new, tentative trust, a willingness to move forward. "Thank you, truly. It would mean everything to me." The next few months were a journey of healing for them all, a slow, steady climb out of the shadows of the past. Maya continued to work for Eleanor, their bond now even deeper, rooted in a shared love and memory of Lily. They talked about Lily often, sharing stories, photos, and cherished memories, keeping her spirit alive in their conversations. It was a way to keep Lily's spirit alive, to honor her brief but impactful life, a quiet act of remembrance. Eleanor even showed Maya old home videos of Lily, a bittersweet gift that helped Maya grieve and remember, connecting her to the friend she thought she had lost forever. Elias, true to his word, used his extensive connections. He helped Maya find a perfect small space for her art studio in a vibrant part of the city, a place full of light and inspiration. He introduced her to influential art dealers and gallery owners, quietly vouching for her talent, opening doors that would otherwise be closed. He even arranged for a small, exclusive exhibition of her work, giving her the launch she deserved, a chance to share her art with the world. He showed up at her opening night, standing quietly in the back, observing the crowd, a proud, almost gentle smile on his face as he watched Maya shine, truly seen and appreciated for her gift. The shy waitress, once invisible, once lost in her own grief, was now a recognized artist. Her studio, the Lily Gallery, became a success, a place where her art spoke volumes, where her hands created magic. Her paintings, once full of quiet longing, now burst with color and emotion, telling stories of loss, healing, and the beautiful, unexpected connections between people, a testament to her journey. Brenda from the diner became one of her first loyal customers, bragging to everyone about knowing Maya before she was famous, a true champion. And the stiff assistant, Sarah, eventually softened too, seeing the genuine, positive impact Maya had on the Hayes family. Sarah even confided that she had secretly been impressed with Maya all along, but felt it was her duty to protect the family from outsiders, a duty she now saw was sometimes misguided, sometimes too rigid. Maya's new normal was vibrant and full of purpose. She still visited Eleanor regularly, not as an employee, but as a cherished friend, almost family. They would sit in the garden or the library, their hands flying, their laughter filling the quiet mansion. The language Lily had taught Maya, the language she had hidden away for so long, had not only brought her a new life but had also brought healing to old wounds, connecting her to a family she never knew she belonged to. And in every stroke of her brush, in every signed conversation, Lily's memory lived on, a silent song in her heart, a beacon of hope and connection, forever a part of Maya's art and life. The shy waitress met the billionaire's deaf mother, and her sign language changed everything, revealing a hidden past and paving the way for a future she never dared to dream. Subscribe now, because you won't want to miss other incredible stories of hidden connections and life-changing moments. Follow, comment, and share to become part of our story circle, and never miss an inspiring tale.